Hi Devan, this is lesson 8 in chapter 8 on writing decimals now. So we've done writing tenths, writing hundredths, and now we're going on to writing decimals. So my friend wants to make different numbers using digit cards, which are these here, and the place value grid. Okay, so you had one of these attached to your Google Classroom, or you can draw your own. And my friend wonders how many different numbers she can make using these digit cards. So we have 1, 3, 0 and 8, which is what I've got here. I couldn't find my 8, so I've made another one. And a place value grid. Okay, so I want you to make sure you've got these digit cards. Okay, you can just do what I've done here with a piece of paper. Cut them out and put them onto 4 digit cards, please. And make sure you have a piece of paper with either the printed place value grid on or draw it yourself. You will need the tens column, the ones column, the tenths column and the hundredths column. Okay, so you need to have your 4 columns on there. So pause the video whilst you go and make sure you've got those resources. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to have a little play with making some different numbers using these digit cards. What are all the different number combinations that you can make? Okay, and write them down for me. Remember your decimal point. And then I'm going to be making some numbers myself and asking you questions on what you understand about those numbers that you've made. Pause the video, see what you can find. Okay, so I'm going to make a number. I'm going to make this number. How do I say that number? I would say 10 and 38 hundredths, or 10.38. Okay, so don't forget your decimal point goes down that middle section there. What digit is in the ones place? A 0. What does the digit 3 stand for? A 3 stands for 3 tenths. What other ways can we write this number? Can we write it as a fraction? So if you need some extra time to answer my questions as we go through, feel free to pause the video, write your answers down, and then we can go through them as we go. Right, I'm going to make a different number now. Remember, our decimal point comes down this part here. What digit is in the hundredths place? A 3. What does the digit 0 stand for? 0 tenths. How do we read this number? 8 and 13 hundredths, or 8.13. What digit is in the tenths column? 1. Okay, I'm going to make one more number. How do I read that number? $83.1, or 83 and 1/10, or 83 and 10 hundredths. What digit is in the tenths place? A 1. What is the digit 8 worth? 8 tenths, or 80. Okay, so if it's 8 tenths, it's 80. What is this number as a fraction? Okay, so I'm sure you found lots of other different combinations that you could have made. Feel free to share those numbers that you created with these digit cards on your Google Classroom. I'd love to see who found the most combinations. We are going to now go on to have a look at our guided practice. So what you need to do now is find out what the digit 6 stands for in each of these numbers. So it might be worthwhile you writing these decimals onto your place value grid so you can really see what the 6th digit is worth in each of the numbers. Okay, so work your way through those 6 questions and then we will share our answers. So I'm going to draw this onto my place value grid. Number 1, we had 2.46 or 2 and 46 hundredths. So 2 ones, and I've got my decimal point, 46. So for that number, the digit 6 stands for 6 hundredths. Okay, so you can either write 6 hundredths or write it as a fraction, 6 over 100. Okay, for number 2, we've got 60.24. 60.24. So the 6 in that number stands for 60 because it's 6 tens. So yes, you could have said 6 tens. You cannot write this, unfortunately, because that means 6 tenths. So that wouldn't have been correct. But 6 tens equals 60. So the value of the 6 is 60. Number 3, we have 20.46. What's the value of the 6? 6 hundredths. Number 4, we have 26.4. What is the value of the 6? 6 ones is 6, so the value of the 6 is 6. 62.04 for number 5. 62.04. What's the value of the 6? 6 tens is 60, so the value of the 6 in this column is 60. That's the one that we need to remember. We have to multiply it by 10. And lastly, we have 20.64 for number 6. What's the value of the 6? It is 6 tenths. So we're not multiplying this one because we are this side of the decimal point. So the answer is 6 tenths. Okay, well done if you got that correct. Writing it on the place value grid is really helpful. Okay, so you might want to continue to do that when you're working through your worksheet. And you are going to complete worksheet number 8 on page 16. Okay, use that place value grid, use those digit cards to have a play around, make sure you're understanding the numbers, even have a little game with somebody in your house where they can make you a number on your place value grid and you have to understand the value of each digit, read the number to them, and you can take it in turns, okay, because that will really help you to understand. And then you can work through the questions on your worksheet. Good luck, everybody.